Hi, today we're going to read Junie B. First Grader, Boo and I Mean It by Barbara Park. Chapter 1, Secrets. Friday. Dear first grade journal. My daddy went away on a business trip this week. He is doing job interviews. Job interviews is when you put on a suit and you wear a tie, and you beg people for a job. I wish Daddy did not have to do job interviews right now. 'Cause Halloween is coming tomorrow, and I am afraid of that scary holiday. From Scaredy Junie B, first grader. P.S. I am not telling anyone that I am scared of Halloween, or else they'll tease me. Probably. Children are like that. I put down my pencil and thought about Halloween some more. Then I did a little shiver. On account of last year, a boy named Pollyanna Puffer told me 5 scary secrets about that day. And he said I'm not allowed to tell anyone, or else a witch will turn my head into a wart. I made a sick face, and I tried not to think about that situation. Only how can you not think about a situation if you're trying not to think about a situation? I tapped my fingers, very frustrated. Then, all of a sudden, I saw my journal on my desk, and a good idea came into my head. Because sometimes, if you write your problems in a journal, it makes you feel better about things. I heard that on some home shopping network, they were selling journals, I believe. I quick opened the pages. I started to write 5 scary secrets that Pollyanna Puffer told me by Junie B. Jones. 1. Real monsters and witches go trick-or-treating on Halloween. Only they don't even wear costumes, on account of everybody thinks they're already dressed up. But they're not. They are wearing their real actual face and clothes. Do not carve pointy sharp. Do not curve pointy sharp teeth with your pumpkin, or else it will roll into your room while you're sleeping and eat your feet. That's like to land on your head and live on your hair. 4. Black witch cats and claw you into shredder. Candy corn isn't really corn. I put down my pencil again, and I read over the secrets that candy corn 1 is shocking, I tell you. Writing my problems did not make me feel better. I put my head on my desk, and I covered up with my arms. Just then, I heard my teacher's voice. His name is Mr. Scary. That is a good Halloween name, I think. Only actually, he used it for whole entire year. He said, please take out your arithmetic books. I kept on staying covered up. 'Cause how can I do arithmetic when there's scary secrets on my brain? All around me, room 1 got out their books. I took my sweatshirt from the back of my chair and tucked it next to my ears. Sweatshirts help block out classroom noises. Pretty soon, I heard my teacher again. Junie, are you all right back there?" he asked. Only before I could even answer, a tattletale named May started blabbing her head off. "No, Mr. Scary, Junie Jones is not all right," she said. "Junie Jones is not paying attention again, as usual. And Junie Jones has been doing their other bad stuff lately too," she said. "Like yesterday, she ate half a sandwich from her lunchbox during silent reading. Only I couldn't even tattle on her, because if you keep on tattling, I'll get a note stand home. And so thank goodness that you're finally on the ball today." After that, room 1 got very silent, and Mr. Scary didn't say any words. I felt shaky inside. He was thinking of a punishment for me, probably. Finally, I raised my head and I peeked one eye at him. He was sitting at his desk writing a note. I did a groan. It was to my mother, I think. I started to hide my eye again. Only just then, Mr. Scary stood up very calm, and he came to the back of the room and gave the note to May. I couldn't believe my eyeball. "Please take this home to your parents," he told her. May's whole mouth came open at that shocking news. "No, Mr. Scary, no, please don't make me take a note. Please. I wasn't tattling. I promise I wasn't. I was just saying I'm glad you're on the ball today. That's all I was saying. I was saying that I'm glad for you." Mr. Scary smiled. "Thank you, May. You're very kind," he said. Then he bent down next to her and he stuck the note in her backpack. I reached over and tapped on it. "That note was a long overdue," I said. Mr. Scary sucked in his cheeks at me. "Please sit up, Junie B," he said. His voice did not sound happy. "Now," he said. I quick sat up. "Okie doke, I'm sitting. See me sitting, Mr. Scary?" I said. "Plus also, I'm going to get out my arithmetic book, I think. I found it in my backpack." "Yes, sirree, here it is. I've got my book. And so I'm all set to do arithmetic now," I said. Mr. Scary kept on standing there. I looked up at him. "All righty, you can be heading on your desk. Back to your desk," I said. He still did not move. I waved my fingers. "Keep in touch," I said. Mr. Scary bent down next to me, and he talked really serious in my ear. "You need to pay attention in class, Junie B," he said. "I shouldn't have to tell you that." I just sighed. Then I leaned over and whispered to him real private. "Yeah, only I've got something on my head that's bothering me today," I explained. "On account of Scary Halloween is coming tomorrow, and I don't actually like it that much. Just then, May's ears perked up. That girl has X-ray hearing, I tell you. "Hey everybody, Junie Jones is scared of Halloween," she shouted. I heard her say it. Junie Jones is a scaredy cat baby about Halloween. Then all of the room turned around and looked at me. "Really?" said my bestest friend named Herbert. "You're scared of Halloween, Junie B? I didn't know that." I didn't know that either, said my other friend Sherry. How come you're scared of Halloween? Just then, a boy named Sheldon jumped up at his desk and he talked really loud. Well, I'm not scared of Halloween, that's for sure, he said. He stood there a second. Then he did a little frown. Except last year, Daniel Delmont dressed up like a Mr. Potato Head and he jumped out at me from a bush, and I have to drop my bag and run. Room 1 laughed and laughed. Sheldon frowned bigger. It wasn't funny, he said. I have to start my candy for scratch. May rolled her eyes. Who cares, Sheldon? She said. The thing is that Junie Jones is scared of Halloween this year, and that makes her a scaredy cat baby. She leaned across the aisle at me. B-A-B-Y spells baby, she said. I crossed my arms at that girl. Oh, yeah? Well, Tatltail spells tattletale, I said back. Mr. Scary looked at me. He shook his head no. I stopped for a second. Then I tried again. Tatltale spells tattletale, I said. Mr. Scary doesn't whines. I tapped my fingers on my desk. Then I took one more crack at it. Tatltail spells tattletale. Mr. Scary closed his eyes. I put my head back down on my desk. He covered me up with my sweatshirt. I appreciate that. Chapter 2. Candy corn. That afternoon, I zoomed to my house from the bus stop. And I ran from in my front door as fast as lightning. Tatltle, Tatle, Tatle spells tattletale, I hollered. After that, I used the word in a sentence. Tattletale. May is a big fat tattletale. I heard my grandma's voice. Junie B, honey, is that you? She called. I'm in Ollie's room. Come back and see us. I circled my hands around my mouth. Okay, I hollered again. Okay spells okay. After that, I hurried back there very fast. And I hugged my grandma real tight. Did you hear me spell tattletale? I said. I looked that word up in my dictionary at school. An account of May tattletaled on me today. Grandma Miller was changing Ollie's clothes. She shook her head at that news. Oh dear, not more trouble with May, she said. Honestly, Junie B, you're just going to have to ignore that girl. I crossed my arms. Yeah, only how can I even ignore her when she calls me a scaredy cat baby? I said. She told me all the children that I am scared of Halloween. Grandma, only if May knew what I know about Halloween, she would be scared too. 2. Grandma looked curious at me. What are you talking about? She asked. What is it that you know? I swallowed very hard. Then I made my voice quieter. I know 5 secrets. That's what I know. I said. Only I'm not even allowed to tell anyone, or else my head will turn into a wart. Chills came into my arms. Pollyanna Puffer told me that. I whispered even softer. Grandma Miller wrinkled her eyebrows. Pollyanna Puffer, she said. Wasn't he the boy who told you what a monster lived under your bed? I nodded my head. Yes, that is the exact same Pollyanna Puffer, I said. He knows a lot of scary stuff, Grandma. On account of Pollyanna Puffer has the brother who's 8th grade, and 8th grade is almost old as a grown-up. Grandma did a little smile. Then she finished buttoning Ollie's sweater. Then she put him on the floor to walk to me. Ollie does not walk that professional. His teeters and totters and weevils and wobbles. He fell down on my foot. Then he patted my shoe, very nice, and he said the word moo. Moo is Ollie's favorite word. He is not sharpest tool in the barn. Grandma bent down to pick him up. I touched her softy white hair. Bats would love that hair, I believe. I wouldn't go out on Halloween if I were you, Grandma, I said. Not with that head of hair. Grandma Miller did a little frown. Then she fluffed her hair that very much. Why, what's wrong with my hair? She asked. Don't you like it? I zipped my lips shut. 'Cause I said too much already, I think. Speaking of Halloween, your mother is coming home from work very early today. She wants to take you to the store to buy your costume. Just then, more chills came on my arms. I started backing out of Ollie's room very slow. Yeah, only I might not want to buy my costume today, I said. Maybe I want to buy it tomorrow, or the next day, or never, possibly. I kept on backing up. Okay, well, I think I have to take a nap home. I'll have to take a nap now, Grandma. And so when Mother gets home, please tell her not to bother me. I did this salute. Thank you and good night, I said. After that, I turned around and I ran to my room. And I quickly closed the door. A second later, I opened it a tiny crack. Yeah, only don't forget I told you. What I told you, I called. Do not go out with that head of hair on Halloween, 'cause that is just asking for trouble, Helen. Grandma Miller called back at me. She said, please do not call her Helen. I shut my door again. Then I picked up my favorite stuffed animal named Philip Johnny Bob, and I hurried to get in bed. If I pretend to be asleep, maybe I won't have to go to the scary Halloween store with Mother, I told them. Philip quick pretended to snore. I tapped on him. Yeah, only she's not actually home yet, Phil, I explained. Plus, I need to tell you 5 scary secrets, 'cause I can't tell them to real actual people. But you don't count probably, because your ears aren't really real. Philip Johnny Bob felt his ears with the front of foot. Really? You're kidding me, he said. My ears aren't real. Are you sure? Because they really feel real, don't you think? I felt his ears. Yes, Philip. They do feel real, but they are just made out of cloth. Philip Johnny Bob kept filling his ears, and so finally I had to take his foot away. After that, I made a noise too, a whisper. I told him the five scary secrets. First, I whispered the secret about the monster and witches. When I whispered the secrets about the pumpkins and bats and the cats. And finally, I whispered the secret about how Halloween candy corn is not actually corn. His mouth came open at that one. No, he shouted. That can't be true. Candy corn has got to be corn. It has corn right in its exact name. Plus, it didn't look like corn that its exact name. Plus, it even looks like corn, that kind of. And so, if it isn't a real corn, what kind of vegetable is it? I did a shrug. I don't know, Phil, I said. It can't be. It can't be peas because peas are roundish and greenish. Right, said Philip. And it can't be carrots because carrots are longish and crunchish. We thought some more. Then both of us looked at each other. Maybe Pollyanna Puffer's big brother is wrong about the corn, I said. Yes, he got to be wrong, said Philip. Candy corn is definitely corn. There is nothing else it could be. I nodded. But the other scary secrets are true, I bet. You can just tell they're true by the sound of them. Like, why would a real actual monster put on a costume if he already looks like he's wearing one? I know, said Philip. And the pointy sharp pumpkin teeth make sense too. 'Cause what good are pointy sharp teeth if you can't eat feet? Right, I said. And you know that's and cats are secret too. 'Cause what that wouldn't want to live in Grandma's softy hair. And witches and cats and definitely claw you to shitter, said Philip. He looked at me. Maybe you shouldn't go trick-or-treating this year, Junie B, he said. Maybe you just stay here with me, all safe and sound, right in your own house. I shrugged. I hugged him real tight. That elephant is really supportive. Chapter 3. Squirty. Me and Philip Johnny Bob took a real nap. It was an accident. Because both of us are too old for naps. But sometimes naps just happen. After we woke up, Mother came in my room. Then she kissed my cheek. Hello. I yawned and waved. Mother fluffed my hair. I know you're still sleepy, honey, but we need to go to your room. We need to go get your Halloween's costume now, she said. Grandma is going to stay with Ollie while we're gone. My tummy did a flip-flop at that news. I had to get out of this. I just had to. Yeah, I don't actually feel like getting my Halloween costume right now, I said, real whiny. And anyway, I don't even know what I want to be yet. After that, I quick put my covers into my head. I'll think about this and get back to you tomorrow, I said. Mother did a laugh. Then she pulled my covers off again. Sorry, Junie B, but we can't wait until tomorrow, she said. Tomorrow is Halloween. After that, she picked me up from my bed and she stood me on the floor. I'm sure once we get to the store, you'll find lots of fun costumes to choose from, she said. Now please put on your shoes while I go to get my coat. Then after she left, I grabbed Philip. Johnny Bob really panicked. She's gonna make me do it, Philip. Mother's gonna make me go trick-or-treating tomorrow night. And that means I'm going to see real actual monsters and witches. Plus, I'll probably be coming home with a bat in my hair. I ran around to my room very upset. Philip watched me go. Why don't you just tell her, Junie B? He asked. If you tell Mother the 5 scary secrets, then she won't make you go to trick-or-treating, I bet. I shook my head. But I can't, Philip, I said. I can't tell anyone that 5 secrets, or else my head would turn into a wart. Remember that? I made a sick face. A wart would be hard to explain. Philip thought some more. Okay, then make up a different reason why you can't go, he said. Tell Mother that you're afraid of the dark. I rolled my eyes way up in the ceiling. But I'm not afraid of the dark, Philip. I'm not afraid of anything usually. I paused for a second. Except for the roosters and pointy lips, of course, I said. But that is going to be expected. I tapped on my chin. Also, I do not care for ponies who stomple you to death, I said. And clowns, Philip said. You're also afraid of clowns. I looked at him kind of annoyed. Yes, Phil, but everyone is afraid of clowns, I said. Even Grandma Miller is afraid of clowns. I thought back. Remember when all of us went to the circus together and that scary mean clown chased Grandma around the bleachers and with his seltzer bottle? Philip nodded. Yes, Scorty the clown, he said. He made Grandma wear an active balloon hat. Remember that? Of course I remember, I said. I still have bad dreams about that clown. Even monsters and witches would run away from Squirty, I bet. Sure they would, said Philip. Squirty would scare the pants off those guys. I had a sigh. Good luck, Squirty, I said. Squirty the clown doesn't have to be afraid of anything, Just then, Mother's voice hollered down the hall. Junie B, are you ready yet? You need to get a move on, honey. We've got to go. Me and Philip looked frantic at each other. Then bingo, America happened. And it's called Answer to My Problem popped right in my head. I sprang up fast as a spring. Hey, wait a second. I know the answer, Philip. I know how I can be for the Halloween. I danced around really joyful. I know Dan's really joyful. I can be Squirty, I said. I can be the Squirty the clown, and I'll squirt the monsters and witches with my seltzer bottle, and then they'll run away. I grabbed Philip, Johnny, Bob, and we twirled around. Squirty, Squirty, Squirty! We sang really happy. Mother heard us being noisy. Then she hurried into my room. Hey, 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 what's going up here? What's going on in here? She asked. I ran and hugged her legs. I'm going to be Squirty. That's what I'm going to be. That's what's going on here, I hollered. Mother stood there for the real long time. Then all of a sudden, her face went funny. Oh no, oh dear, no. You don't mean Squirty the clown, don't you? She asked. Then she closed her eyes. Not that nasty little clown who chased your grandmother around the bleachers with a seltzer bottle. I laughed and clapped and laughed and clapped. Yes, Mother, yes, yes, yes. That's exactly the Squirty I mean. Mother shook her head. But it doesn't make sense, Junie B. You were scared to pieces by Squirty. Why would you want to be such a terrible clown for Halloween? Because, I said, because I'm not allowed to tell you. That's why. But I really, really want to be Squirty. After that, I put on my shoes. Then I grabbed my jacket. Then I ran out to the car. I honked the horn for Mother. 'Cause when you are mean clown, you with a seltzer bottle or trick or treating doesn't worry you a bit. So ha ha on the monsters, and ha ha on the witches and bats and cats, and ha ha on scary Halloween. Chapter 4. A Halloween Store. The Halloween store was in the mall. I pulled Mother in a jiffy, only too bad for me, 'cause as soon as I saw the store, I screeched on my brakes really quick. On account of stuff on the window gave me the creeps, I tell you. The window was filled with skeletons and devils, and plus there was a scary hairy monster's head all over the place. I closed my eyes real tight. Then I did a hard swallow, 'cause scary hairy monsters' heads can take the brave out of you. I squeezed Mother's hand tighter. Okay, here's a little change of plans, I said. I think I will go home now. I tried to pull Mother back to the other way, but she still wouldn't budge. I know those masks look scary, she said, but rubber masks can hurt you, Junie B. She smiled. Those masks are made from the same kind of rubber that all these rubber ducky is made from. And you are not afraid of rubber ducky, are you? I rolled my eyes at that dumb question. Rubber ducky doesn't have a sword through his head, I said. Mother doesn't listen. She pulled me into the store, and we went into the aisle with the girls' costumes. I looked up and down the shelves. They had every little costume in the book. I tell you. They Little Red Riding Hood, a little Bo Peep, and Mary had a little lamb, and an little orphan Annie, and the Little Mermaid. Plus, also, they had little Miss Puppet who sat on her trumpet. Mother's face got gleamy and happy. "Oh, don't you love these, Junie B?" she asked. "Wouldn't you like to wear one of these darling costumes tomorrow?" I smiled very pleasant. "No, thank you," I said. Just then a store lady walked by. Then I reached out and tapped on her. "Where is the Squirty suits?" I said. The lady looked curious at me. Then she looked at Mother. "Did she say Squirty suits?" she asked. Mother closed her eyes in a second. "No, I'm afraid she said Squirty suits," she told her. "Squirty the clown. He sprays old woman with seltzer." The lady looked strange at us. Then and she went another way. I looked down the clown row, really nervous. And oh no, there was scary clowns parts hanging everywhere, I tell you. I quick jumped behind Mother's skirt. Then very slow, I peeked out. There were round clown noses and creepy clown hair and big white clown gloves, a giant baggy clown pants with splinters on them. I did some deep breaths. Then finally I came back from behind Mother, and I looked away down the aisle. "Yeah, here's the problem. I don't actually see Squirty suits," I said. Mother patted me. "Yes, well, I didn't think we'd find a real Squirty costume," she said. "But with these all clown parts, you can be much cuter than Squirty, Junie B." She took a wig off the shelf and popped it on my head. "Here, how about this funny frizzly red hair?" she said. I quick took it off. "No, Mother, no," I said. "I don't want to be frizzy. I want to be Squirty." I stamped my foot. "Squirty, I said. "I have to be Squirty." "Shh, honestly, Junie B, what has gotten into you?" she said, very snappish. Just then a boy walked by. Then he saw me getting snapped at. I asked Mother to tone it down a notch. "I will not be saying that comment again, probably." Her face turned steaming mad, and she talked through closed teeth. "That's not out of you, young lady," she said. "None of more rude word. Do you understand me?" I rocked back and forth on my feet, kind of nervous. Then I did a gulp. "Yeah, only that's really going to cut down my end of the conversation," I said, real kind of quiet. Mother looked at me for a minute. Then she quick covered her mouth and her hand. She was doing a grin back there, I think. After that, after that, she quick covered her mouth with her hand. She was doing a big grin back there, I think. After that, her voice got nicer. "You've got to listen about me." about this costume business, Junie B, she said. Okay, there's no squirty suits. Okay, they don't even make squirty suits. Squirty is not a famous clown. I felt shocked at that information. But how can he be not famous, Mother? I know that clowns like the front of my hand, Mother nodded. Yes, well, I'm afraid Squirty made a strong impression of all of us. And why are you determined to be such a terrible clown? That's a total puzzle to me, she said. But if you really, really want to be Squirty, that's the best we can do to get you an outfit that is similar to his. My shoulders slumped very much, because similar doesn't mean exactly. Mother looked at her watch. It's your choice, Junie B. We either buy you an outfit similar to Squirty's, or we'll buy you a little Bo Peep costume. Then I did a little sad sigh. Then I walked down the aisle very glum, and I looked for a similar seltzer bottle. Chapter 5. No Squirty. Dear little piece of paper that I'm writing on my room. Today is Halloween. Only guess what? There's no seltzer bottle. That's what, 'cause my mother said I'm not even supposed to squirt people. And so, how am I supposed to scare off the monsters and witches? That's what I like to know. Also, my clown hair is not exactly like Squirty's. Plus, I couldn't find a Squirty shirt. I do not faith in this costume. From not exactly Squirty. P.S. I would like to spray Mother with seltzer. I stopped writing and looked at my clock. It was already after dinner. Mother was in Ollie's room. She was dressing up him in his Halloween costume. I crawled over my covers with Philip Johnny Bob, and I worried about my costume some more. I still don't know why I can't squirt monsters with seltzer, I said. Me neither, Philip said. Squirting seltzer would scare the pants off. Just then, we heard a knock on my door. I didn't say come in, 'cause Mother ran in anyway. That is a bad habit of hers. I picked my eyes off the covers. Mother was holding baby Ollie. He was wearing a cow suit, and Grandma Miller made it for him for Halloween. Mother put Ollie from the floor. Moo, he said. I made a cuckoo sign at him. Come on, Junie B, let's go, said Mother. Without Daddy here to help, I'm running behind. We have to hurry and get you dressed. Grandma and Grandpa Miller are coming over to take pictures. After that, she got my bag off the clown parts. Then she spread them on the floor and the bed. There was a red clown nose and curly clown hair and a big fat clown's pants with splinters. Also, there was a giant bow tie like Squirty's wore, and big white gloves and a shirt of puffy buttons on the front. Mom fastened the buttons on my clown shirt. Then she put the clown pants over my jeans. Then she put the splinters over my shoulder, and she snapped a bow tie around my neck. And I put my gloves. I looked myself at the mirror. But I don't look like Squirty. I said, real whiny. I just look like plain old me, except with very stupid taste in clothes. Mother smiled. Of course you don't look like clown yet, silly, she said. You can't look like clown until you've got your own makeup on. After that, she turned me around to face her, and she told me to close my eyes, and she put clown makeup all over my face. When she was done, I plopped my clown hair on my head. Then kerplunk, she stuck my right nose, and she beamed real happy. Ta-da! She said, "You're a clown." My heart got poundy and thumpy at this noise. I turned around to see the mirror again, and wow, my eyes popped out of my head, 'cause I looked like Skirty, I tell you. I did a loud gasp at that sight. Then I bent over to catch my breath. Phew, I said, whoa, phew. Mother laughed. I'll take that as a compliment, she said. I have to admit, you look like more like Skirty than I thought you would. I kept on breathing till I got the air back. Then very slow I raised my head and I peeked at myself once more. Chill bumps came on my arms. I leaned closer and made a creepy clown grin. I did a little shiver. I'm scaring myself, silly, I said. Just then the doorbell rang. It was Grandma and Grandpa, I think. Mother picked up Ollie the cow, and she hurried to let them in. I stayed behind to look myself some more. I waved my mirror and the big clown glove, and I backed from a little bit and pretended to squirt myself with the seltzer. Squirt! I said, squirt, squirt, squirt. Very fast, I spun around and squirted my raggedy aunt named Ruth, and my raggedy aunt Annie named Rary, and my teddy named Teddy. Squirt, 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 I said to them. Finally, I put my pretend squirt bottle, and I sat on my edge of the bed. Darn it, I said. I wish I have the real squirt bottle, and because if monsters aren't afraid of my clown face, I know how else I'll scare them anyway. I walked back and forth, very pacing. Just then I heard Grandma Miller's voice in the hall. She was giggling about Ollie and his cow suit, and so I couldn't wait to see her. I couldn't wait for her to see me too. All of a sudden, I got a funny idea in my head. I did a sneaky smile at my mirror. Then, very quiet, I tiptoed out of the room and I creeped the hall on the softy clown feet. Then, ha! I sprang out of Grandma with all my might, and I did a scariest scream. Ah! 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 I screamed. Ah! 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 Grandma jumped way high in the air. Mother jumped too. I laughed and laughed at funny sight. Then I ran all around and I kept on screaming. Ah! 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 I'm a screaming clown. I'm a screaming clown. Just then Grandma Miller came through the front door. I I ran at him very speedy and I butted him in the stomach with my clown head. Then whoa! Mother grabbed me by my clown pants. For heaven's sake, Junie, knock it off, she yelled. I stopped screaming. I tapped on her very polite. Yeah, I'm not actually Junie, I said. I explained. I'm the screamy clown. I stood there a second. Then my whole face lighted up. Hey, I hold it. That's a good name for me, Mother. I clapped very excited. If I can be Scrooty, I can be Screamy. I can be Screamy the clown. After that, I ran to get my Halloween bag and laugh some more. 'Cause Screamy the clown can scare the pants off people, I bet. Even without seltzer. Chapter 6. Fruits are trick or fruit. Mother put Ollie in a stroller and she took us trick or treating. She tried to hold my hand, but I quite pulled away. Oh yeah, I'm not even a scaredy cat baby, I said. I'm a Screaming the clown. After that, I speeded up my feet. And I walked very fast in the front of those two. Our first neighbor house is where grouchy Mrs. Morty lives. Grouchy Mrs. Morty lives herself with grouchy Mr. Morty. Their yard has lots of lawn decorations on it. Only do not accidentally take a little elf on their garden, or else grouchy Mrs. Morty will feign to call the cops. I ran up the porch steps. There was a big trick-or-treat boy already there. He was ringing the doorbell. I looked at him very close. He was wearing a fishing boots and a fishing pole. I waved at him with my clown gloves. Hello, how are you? How are you today? I'm Screamy the clown, I said, and I can scare the pants off people. The boy rolled his eyes at me. He didn't say any words. I pulled the fishing pole very friendly. So, what are you dressed as? I asked. The boy sucked his cheeks to his head. I'm a fisherman, you clown, he said. Fishermen have an attitude, apparently. That's how I come to decide to scare the pants off that guy. I did a creepy clown grin. Then I stood up my tallest tippy toes and I screamed his face. Ah, ah, ah! I screamed. Just then, grouchy Mrs. Morty moved from the front door, opened the front door. Then she clicked held her ears. Junie B. Jones, my word, stop all that racket. I stopped the racket. Yeah, only I'm not actually Junie B. Jones, I explained. I'm Screamy the Clown. And Screamy the Clown can scare the pants off people. The fisherman boy rolled his eyes again. I don't even know this clown, he said. He tapped on grouchy Mrs. Morty's arm. Trick or treat, give me something to eat. Give me something good to eat, I sang, very amusing. Grouchy Mrs. Morty picked up an apple ball, and she gave us each an apple. It plopped very hard on the bottom of the bag. I stared down that thing. Okie doke, here's the problem, Mrs. Morty. I already have apples at my house, I said. I did a little frown. Also, I didn't say trick or fruit, I said. The fisherman boy laughed real loud. Then he leaned over next to me. He dropped his apple down my clown pants and quick ran off the porch. I stood there very shocked. Okay, that wasn't really acceptable, I said kind of mumbly. Just then Mother came the steps with Ollie the cow. Mrs. Morty's face got nicer. She patted Miss Ollie's cow head, and she gave him a Rice Krispies treat. I looked curious at that moment. Okay, I see. I didn't actually know that Rice Krispies treats were available, I said. So I would like to trade these apples, please. I reached to my bag and my clown pants. I tried to give the apples back, but grouchy Mrs. Morty did a grump face. I only made treats for little ones, she said. After that, she patted Ollie again. Then she closed the door. Mother stared at me. My, that went well. As only that's the first house, and you've got an apple dropped down your pants. You said. I did a big breath. And not only that, but you didn't even thank her for the apples, Junie bee. I thought a second. But I'm not thankful for the apples, I said. Mother rolled her eyes. It doesn't matter, she said. When someone gives you a gift, you always say thank you. I scratched my head at that interesting news. Really? No kidding, I said. Thank you for that film, apparently. Who knew? Chapter 7, Dumb Cinderella. After we left grouchy Mrs. Morty's, we went the rest of the house on our street. I got raisins and a pencil and box of trail mix. And I said thank you to all those people. This is the 5th day of my life, I told Mother. At the end of the block, we turned the corner. And wow, I saw two trick-or-treaters girls coming my way. It was Cinderella and her fairy godmother. I couldn't resist myself, I tell you. I made scary claws at that fingers, and I raised my arms in the air. Then I ran at those two like a whiz. Ah! I screeched. I'm screaming the clown! They stopped really fast and watched me with their eyes, and I ran all around them in a scary circle. Ah! I screamed. Then finally I got dizzy and I stopped to take a breath there. While I breathed, I made a scary clown face. Grrr! I said, grrr. Cinderella and the fairy godmother. Cinderella looked at the fairy godmother. Do clowns say grrr? She asked. The fairy godmother shrugged her shoulders. Why did she say her name? What did she say her name was again? Cinderella thought for a second. Creamy, I said. I think she said Creamy the clown. I stamped my foot. Not Creamy, Screamy, I hollered. I'm the Screamy the clown, and I can scare the pants off you. And I made more claws, and I jumped up, down, and down, very frightening. Boo! I said boo, and I mean it. They looked at each other and did more shrugs. Cinderella started walking again. Sorry, Creamy, but you're just not scary, she said. The fairy godmother nodded. You're making a fool out of yourself, sister, she said. Then she bonked me out of the head with her wand, and she started walking too. I stood there real glum. Pretty soon, Mother and Ollie caught up with me. Mother said I'm acting like a lunatic, and I have to stay with her and Ollie. Then she held my splinters so I couldn't run away anymore. My shoulders slumped very much. Yeah, only why would I run away again? I said. 'Cause I can't scary flee, I tell you. I glanced down at my fat pants. I look like a clown in this get-up, I said, real embarrassed. I did not feel brave anymore. Finally, Mother let go of my splinters and she held my hand. I I walked real slow and nervous, and I looked for monsters in the dark. I also I swatted at the air over my head, or else a bat might land